Good afternoon. Welcome to The Ambassador. With me, Ambassador Susan Nganga. To our top story. At least 55 people were killed in a brutal attack on villages and a camp for displaced people in the northeastern Congo, local authorities said on Tuesday. Fighters from the Codeco militias carried out the attack, and the death toll could rise as more bodies are found. This violence is part of the growing conflict in the eastern Congo, where over 120 armed groups are fighting for land and minerals.
United Arab Emirates has called for a ceasefire in Sudan during the holy month of Ramadan, urging warring factions to lay down their arms for the sake of humanitarian relief and stability. However, Sudan's army has swiftly dismissed the call, deepening tensions between the two sides. In a statement on Tuesday, United Arab Emirates official urged Sudan's rival forces to commit to a ceasefire in honor of the Islamic holy month, which begins in early March. The call comes as Sudan's brutal civil war between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces near its second year, leaving thousands dead and millions displaced. But the Sudanese army swiftly rejected the United Arab Emirates' appeal, accusing the Gulf nations of playing an aggressive role in the conflict. The military claims the United Arab Emirates has been supplying weapons to the rapid support forces, allegation that United Nations experts and the U.S. lawmakers have said are credible. The United Arab Emirates, however, have repeatedly denied any involvement in arming the rapid support forces. For now, Sudan remains locked in a devastating cycle of war with no clear path to peace. Peres Kigo, GPS News.
Tensions continue to escalate in Sudan as the United Arab Emirates call for a ceasefire during the upcoming holy month of Ramadan. But the Sudanese army has outright rejected the proposal, accusing the UAE of fueling the very war it seeks to pause. The UAE denies these allegations, but as the conflict nears its 2-year mark, the prospect of peace remains distant.
United Arab Emirates has called for a ceasefire in Sudan during the holy month of warring factions to lay down their arms for the sake of humanitarian relief and stability. However, Sudan's army has swiftly dismissed the call, deepening tensions between the two sides. In a statement on Tuesday, United Arab Emirates official urged Sudan's rival forces to commit to a ceasefire in honor of the Islamic holy month, which begins in early March. The call comes as Sudan's brutal civil war between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces near its second year, leaving thousands dead and millions displaced. But the Sudanese army swiftly rejected the United Arab Emirates' appeal, accusing the Gulf nations of playing an aggressive role in the conflict. The military claims the United Arab Emirates has been supplying weapons to the rapid support forces, allegation that United Nations experts and the U.S. lawmakers have said are credible. The United Arab Emirates, however, have repeatedly denied any involvement in arming the rapid support forces. For now, Sudan remains locked in a devastating cycle of war with no clear path to peace. Peres Kigo, GPS News.
Now to the story of the Eastern DRC. At least 55 people were killed in a brutal attack on villages and a camp displaced people in the northern eastern Congo, local authorities said on Tuesday. Fighters from the Codeco militia carried out the attack, and the death toll could rise as more bodies are found. This violence is part of a growing conflict in the eastern Congo, where over 120 armed groups are fighting for land and minerals.
In northern eastern Congo, at least 55 people have been killed by militia fighters in a deadly attack on a cluster of villages and a camp for displaced people. The assault occurred Monday night in the Jayaba area of Ituri province, where armed men from the Codeco militia launched the attack. The Codeco militia, composed of fighters from the ethnic Lendu farming community, has been responsible for numerous deadly attacks in the region. This attack is just one example of the worsening violence in eastern Congo, where over 120 armed groups are fighting for control of land and valuable mineral resources. The violence has been ongoing for decades, and the latest assault highlights the growing threat to civilians. Meanwhile, residents of the Goma camp are growing increasingly fearful as M23 rebels are reportedly demanding their evacuation.
I don't know if we will make it. I have children, and to my surprise, we are being told to leave, and I have nothing to give the children.
The situation remains tense, with many hoping for a swift resolution to the ongoing conflict. Reporting for GPS News.
Rising cost, economic challenges, and societal polarization as the nation prepares for a critical February 23rd election. A new survey highlights mounting fears about the economy, political leadership, and divisions within society, underscoring the challenges facing Europe's largest economy.
70% of Germans are worried about the rising cost of living, according to a survey conducted by German reinsurer RNV. Despite a slight drop in inflation, prices for essentials remain high, leaving many struggling to make ends meet. The survey also revealed that 68% fear an economic downturn, up sharply from 48% last summer. With increase in foreign competition, high energy prices, and rising interest rates, Germany's economy has contracted for 2 consecutive years. Even its iconic auto industry has begun cutting jobs to stay afloat.
And I think this focus on migration is really not helping anybody feel more positive in any kind of way. And I also don't think that by focusing on this issue we can solve any of the other problems in the country.
The political landscape is also under strain. Chancellor Olaf Scholz's three-way coalition government collapsed last year, leaving him to lead a fragile minority government. Over 60% of Germans believe both the government and the opposition are overwhelmed, with debate seen as disconnected from public concerns. Societal polarization is now a top concern, with 75% of correspondents fearing growing divisions. Recent high-profile crime involving individuals with migrant backgrounds have fueled heated debates on migration, which many see as central political issue. As Germany approaches the election, trust in political leadership is at historical low, who are expert ones that failing to address these deep-rooted economic and social issues could further erode public confidence in the country's future. Joy Kuria, GBS News.
Thank you for staying with us. We have covered some important stories today, but there is more to come. Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
How can I start the missionary school? And God was giving me the heart to start the missionary school. In 1972, my most beautiful daughter was born. I didn't raise my daughter, but God raised my daughter, so she was raised so wonderfully to work for the gospel. And so 1976, the missionary school was born. And I feel so moved as the church is moving for the gospel. The pastor lives for this.
Fun. And the hyenas were there. They wanted to snatch the baby and tear that baby in pieces and eat.
Today, we're going to make a cactus in a pot. Hey, you, hold on. Are you biting your thumb at me?
I love my mommy. I love my mommy. Yes, I do.
Are you going to show love to your friend? Sure, you are going to do that.
Friends, until next time, bye!
What is the biggest challenge that you face as an aspiring filmmaker? first biggest challenge is still financial. Finance problem. Especially as young filmmakers, you're trying to navigate something for the first time, and there is a lot of pressure from the people in the game.
You people, you don't take it like let's say it's not like a challenge, like
it comes all round.
Like he's just challenging you to do better. Like you try to improve what you feel like you're not doing it in the right way.
This pressure comes with the challenge first and foremost is the resources, is the finance that comes with it, because at the end of the day, as long as you're trying to create films, you're trying to improve your quality with time. Because at the end of the day, you see competition is, for example, just in the music industry. You know, you might find yourself being in the industry and you quit. Not that you can't do it, not that you can't see or you're not seeing or taking it as a challenge, as something to boost you up. But sometimes it can come and overweight. The challenge becomes too hard to bear.
Welcome back to the bulletin. Now, a pre-dawn Russian missile salvo on the Ukrainian capital killed at least one civilian and injured 4 others on Wednesday, sparking several fires in the city of 3 million, Ukrainian officials said. A series of powerful explosions shook the capital around 02:30 GMT as local officials said air defenses were working to thwart the attacks. Prospects for renewed peace negotiations to end the war that Russia launched on Ukraine nearly 3 years ago have increased after United States President Donald Trump said that he had been in contact with Kyiv and Putin. Zelensky also said on Tuesday that Kyiv would soon hold talks with the United States officials. Ukraine's Air Force said it shot down 6 out of 7 ballistic missiles launched in the attack. Out of the 123 drones, the military shot down 71 and likely used electronic countermeasures against 40 more. The overnight attack also damaged critical infrastructure and injured 2 people in the northern region of Chernihiv, local officials said. United States President Donald Trump conducted a meeting with Jordanian King Abdullah discussing critical issues that may redefine the future of Middle East. Trump discussed the proposed plan to permanently displace Palestinians in Gaza to Jordan and Egypt. With the United States owning the Gaza Strip, King Abdullah opposed the notion of displacement, but he stated that the Arab leaders will meet to discuss the issue at hand. Abdi Hamid Ali Hasmo.
Trump met with the Jordanian King Abdullah to discuss this critical matter. King Abdullah is the first Arab leader to visit the White House since Trump made the controversial remark. It has been a week since Trump made the controversial plan of permanently displacing 2 million Palestinians in Gaza. The proposed plan to turn Gaza into a Riviera was met with backlash from the global community, who refer to the annexation of Gaza and the displacement of civilians as ethnic cleansing. During the meeting, the king appeared uncomfortable and wary. Trump pressed on the king, wanting him to accept Palestinians in his country.
We will have Gaza.
What does that mean?
No reason to buy. There is nothing to buy. It's Gaza. It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it. Moving them to a beautiful location where they have new homes, where they can live safely, where they'll have doctors. A small number of people relative to other things that have taken place over the decades and centuries.
King Abdullah did not explicitly reject nor accepted Trump's controversial statement. Majority of Jordanians and the Arab community opposed the plan. Currently, there are 2 million Palestinian refugees in Jordan who fled during the establishment of Israel in 1948. The king, however, stated that he is open to temporarily taking 2,000 Palestinian children who are in need of medical treatment. The king, however, stated that the Arab leaders would come together with a counter-proposal.
Again, this is something that we as Arabs will be coming to the United States with something that we're going to talk about later to discuss all these options.
Trump has stated that he will maintain the withholdment of aid to Jordan. He explained that he is not using it as a threat to Jordanians. Egypt came up with a counter-proposal to rebuild Gaza instead of displacing the civilians. Meanwhile, Netanyahu gave a stern warning to Hamas by stating that if no hostages are released this coming Saturday, the ceasefire agreement will be null and void, reigniting the assault in Gaza.
In light of Hamas's announcement of its decision to violate the agreement and not release our hostages, last night I ordered the military to gather forces inside and around the Gaza Strip. This operation is being carried out at this time. It will be completed in the very near future.
Hamas has accused Israel of violating the ceasefire agreement. They have stated that since the ceasefire took place, Israel military killed more than 20 people. They have endangered civilians with shelling. They also refuse to allow aid to enter the enclave and refuse to allow Palestinians access to mobile homes and tents, considering many Palestinians are homeless. Additionally, the cold winter has made living conditions considerably worse. The reality of the Palestinian struggle is bleak. With Trump's controversial proposal and the possibility of a renewed violence, the civilians in Gaza are constantly in danger. The ceasefire was fragile from the beginning. With limited aid and shelter, everyday life is more difficult. The meeting between the king and the president has renewed skepticism in the Jordanian king. Majority of Jordanians oppose the displacement of Palestinians, considering there are 2 million Palestinians in a country with a population of 11 million. Arab leaders in Egypt and Jordan are also mitigating the risk associated with accepting a group of population who might change the demographics as well as the trajectory of their nation, a risk they don't want to deal with. Only time will tell how this dilemma will unfold. This is Abdihamid Ali, GBS News.
The African Union chairperson position, which is vacant currently, is yet to be filled on Saturday. According to the AUC Electoral Board, the elections to fill this position are scheduled on the 15th as Moussa Faki prepares to hand over. The 3 Africa's contestants eyed for the seat are said to have a spirited fight aimed to replace him in this position. Among them is the Kenya's candidate Raila Odinga, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf from Djibouti, and Richard Mandrato from Madagascar. Our focus today is on the Kenya's candidate, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and our reporter Davis Karani has prepared a feature on his journey for the African Union chairperson seat. Take a listen.
The African people should feel the AU in their lives.
I wish the Honorable Raila Odinga success as he makes his case.
I am here to support the candidature of Raila Odinga as the chairperson of the African Union.
It was a huge and a big declaration for the son of the Kenya soil.
On behalf of the people of Kenya, I wish the Honorable Raila Odinga success as he makes his case to be elected as the chairperson of Africa Union Commission.
A declaration that was followed by constant campaigns which aimed to convince the 54 African heads of state to vote for Raila Odinga, the Kenya's candidate in the African Union chairmanship position.
Today I invite each one of you to imagine this Africa, a continent bursting with potential and brimming with possibilities. As I present my candidacy for the position of chairmanship of the African Union Commission, I'm committed to turning this vision into reality. But I cannot do it alone. It will take all of us, leaders, innovators, and every citizen working collaboratively to dismantle barriers, foster unity, and pursue excellence.
Then a campaign machinery for Odinga was established, led by the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the Right Honorable Musalia Mudavadi.
So far, our candidature has been positively received.
The Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary, Honorable Korir Sing'oei.
Even though there are many who may be qualified in the Republic of Kenya, as we looked at these responsibilities, and as we juxtaposed these responsibilities with the current global challenges and the place of Africa in this globe, there were only very few names, Excellencies, that the Republic of Kenya could present. And there was no better name to present than the name of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
And Ambassador Elkanah Odembo leading at the forefront with a determined heart in Odinga's campaign team.
If elected chairman, I propose to utilize the transition period to critically analyze the existing proposals for reforms and building capacity of the AU Commission.
Despite Odinga's Pan-Africanist nature, which has added value into his candidacy, President William Ruto has been seen making longer strides and efforts through holding major international summits in the country, and his move aimed at ensuring that Odinga gets support from across, and the latest summit being his meeting with the Arab-speaking leaders from across the continent. The official declaration made by the Kenya on her interest to send her son to Addis Ababa as the chairperson of the African Union was made last year at State House, Nairobi, that was attended by the heads of state, former heads of state and ambassadors, and dignitaries from various states across the continent.
All that President Ruto has said about you, I will only put it in one word, or describe or add to it in one word, just to say, I concur. President Ruto said, you will be making Africa proud and powerful. You are right, Mr. President. You will do more than that. You will make Africa proud. You will make Africa powerful. You will make Africa peaceful.
And different from Odinga's local political styles, which involves the use of immense energy, aggressiveness and tough words, the African Union chairmanship campaigns has brought out Odinga's diplomatic character, a sharp and a wise leader without leaving behind his friendship skills, which have enabled him also paint his name across the entire continent. Three days clocking to the official voting day of the new African Union chairperson, the African Union organ, through its Interministerial Council, has organized a meeting in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and Kenya being represented by Musalia Mudavadi, who touched down yesterday. The Executive Council is currently doing its elections, after which 6 commissioners who will be elected will be in charge of the entire elections.
Ready to fall into place. Excellency,
The African Union chairmanship position has attracted 4 contenders, who includes Raila Odinga from Kenya, Mahmoud Yusuf from Djibouti, and Richard Randramandrato from Madagascar. And Odinga is currently making his last sprint in Bujumbura, Burundi, then to Somalia, after which he will be landing back to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia on Thursday ahead of the final elections on Saturday.
We said yes because Raila is competent. Yes. And we are looking at Kenya's national interests and Africa's national interests.
Davis Karani, GBS Ambassador feature story, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
We wish Raila Odinga the best. Now, a prominent opposition figure in Uganda who is on trial in a military tribunal has begun a hunger strike, his wife said, 2 weeks after the country's top court banned courts-martial from trying civilians. President Yoweri Museveni said his government will continue to prosecute civilians in military courts despite the Supreme Court's ruling. A spokesperson for Ugandan's prison denied that Kizza Besigye was on hunger strike. He was a long-time opponent of Museveni and was detained in the neighboring Kenya in November in what a senior Kenyan foreigner official described as an abduction. He was subsequently brought home and charged with illegal possession of firearms and with treachery, which carries the death penalty. He ran against and lost to Museveni in 4 presidential elections. He rejected the results of all those votes, citing irregularities that the authorities denied. Human rights activists have accused Museveni's government of widespread human rights abuses, including torture and arbitrary detention. The government has repeatedly denied allegations of election fraud and rights violations.
Cause concern
And that international news marks the end of our bulletin today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, same time, same place at 1 p.m. And remember, here at Ambassador, we debunk geopolitical diplomacy. I have been your Ambassador Susan Nganga. Good afternoon.
everywhere.